talk about the importance of finding a mentor for whatever you want to do. And I think so I owned an electric company when I was 23 years old. When I had that company, I was forging it out all on my own. I really didn't have any other electrical contractors that I could ask advice from. I did it completely the opposite way of probably what I should have done, because I was like, F all these other electrical contractors, I'm going to become better than them and I'm going to take their business. Which in effect I did, but I only wound up running the company for 2 years. My system did not have the longevity or durability of what it could have had I used somebody else as a true example of how to do the business, and had somebody actually critiquing me on my steps, and or like bringing me back into a conservative mindset when I needed it. So basically the figurative slap me in the face, stop being a little bitch, you don't need to give up your company, just keep going, this is how you're going to do it. Anyways, there's been a lot of things in my life that I thought that I could just forge out on my own, figure it out on my own, and I think that you can have a certain level of success doing it that way, but you also starve yourself of knowing what's beyond you, what's beyond your capability. And I was living in this whole myopic little tunnel vision world where I thought I was the shit, but I wasn't even remotely close to being the shit. The thing about it is what I'm realizing even today now is it takes a team to accomplish any high level of success. Where I started with, once I actually grabbed onto, I think it was Ty Lopez, I was watching a video of his. He said, even if you don't have mentors in your life around you right now that you can model after to gain experience, to gain knowledge, to get momentum going, he's like, I have 1,000 books, I think he said 1,000 books at my house, and he's like, I have Albert Einstein, I have Theodore Roosevelt, I have all these mentors at my disposal in the form of books. So that's where I started. It was interesting because through the journey of consuming book after book after book of these millionaires, these successful people, the way they see things, how life is to them, it started changing my chemistry, changing my programming to go from thinking, and I think one of the previous videos we talked about the scarcity mindset versus the abundance mindset. And this is where the actual shift, and like I was saying, I don't feel like I can define. You see scarcity in everything, or you see abundance in everything. How do you, it's almost like a programming thing where you go, oh, now I get it. Now I understand abundance. Now I understand scarcity. Because the reality of it is right now in America, 97% of this country is middle to lower class. 3% of them are substantially wealthy, upper class, substantially wealthy. It's fair to say that most people don't have shit figured out. And you know what? Honestly, one day when I'm part of that 3%, I probably won't have life figured out either, and that's fine. That's the way it's supposed to be. But I'm saying, as far as financial speaking, as far as setting a goal, finding somebody who's coming into real estate as a 1, I'm not prepared to learn anything from a 10.
Yeah.
I'm prepared to learn something from a 2 or a 3. Or maybe if a 5 dumbs it down enough for me. You know what I mean? So it's not a matter of just being intimidated. It's a matter of opening your eyes and looking around. Where is the mentor level around me? Where's the mentorship around me? And I think the way I see it is it's like me playing catch with the universe. Okay, so if I stand here and I throw the ball to the universe and then I stay here ready to receive the ball again, the universe will throw the ball back to me. The second I stop throwing the ball, which is the action, taking the action to do something, as soon as I don't throw the ball back, that ball's not going to come back to me again. Or if I do throw the ball back and then I'm no longer willing to receive, what's being put in front of me, and I turn my head and I walk away, the ball's not coming back to me again. And that's the way life is. It's you have to take the action to go, what do I need to, what's the next step that I need to take? And it's not even massive steps. It's make that uncomfortable phone call to that person and just talk for a second, and then maybe they'll take an interest in you, maybe, and help you out. Maybe you study that person enough to flatter them when you talk to them, and which makes them take an interest in you and help you out. You can't come into a relationship going, here, I want this and I want this and I want this from you. You come into the relationship giving them value, giving them building them up, taking the pride out of the whole entire situation and go, man, I really like the way you approach this. I really like the way you did this. I really like the way you did this. And it's not necessarily a comfortable way to be, especially if you're a super prideful person, which I think is a total. It's nice to be proud of what you create, but I think when you start being proud in a sense that nobody else can affect you, then you have a flawed perspective, and you're not going to grow at that point. Build somebody up. If you find a mentor that you want to be like them, build somebody up. Try to build them up, even though you don't really have a big platform to build them up from. Like, why the fuck would this dude care what I think of him? People do. It's interesting. And the thing about it is, I think the more, like, literally finding somebody that's a mentor level person that you want to be involved with, you may never even get mentorship from them. But if you study that person, isn't that not mentorship? If you see what their advice is, how they proceed and stuff, getting value from whatever lessons they've learned, if they're putting it out there in content for you to consume, isn't that mentorship? It absolutely is. There's an EE ratio, entertainment versus education. And most of us are really super saturated on the entertainment side of things. Like, what did you actually learn today? Or were you entertained by? You know, if you're binge watching the Keeping Up with Kardashians, I'm pretty sure that you got no value from the day. Whereas if you just watch one YouTube video on bodybuilding, or you watch one YouTube video on diet, or you watch one YouTube video on legalities of real estate, or if you watch one YouTube video on having a better life, or watching one YouTube video on sexuality between you and your partner, or watching, the list goes on. How much entertainment are you consuming versus how much education are you consuming?
And then even on the educational level, it goes from, is it an informative or is it an instructive video? Are you getting instruction out of it, or is it just informative? I mean, it goes crazy.
Oh yeah, I understand. You were bringing up just now. You asking me if I'm still doing Amazon FBA, and actually, I just pulled my pile of magnets out. Somebody, I had them private label manufactured. Spent about, I don't know, told about $4,000 or something like that. Trademark is mine. Paid $1,000 for the trademark. The rights to the design are mine. Everything. I got all the information from the manufacturer and all the trademark information, sent it all into Amazon because I was fighting a dispute where somebody made a license claim against me, and Amazon shut my listing down because I dropped my price down to like $8 on my magnets. They were the lowest priced magnets on Amazon, and I was still making about $3 a piece on it. And unfortunately, I fought them for about 4 months. Amazon doesn't respond to shit. They don't tell you what to do. You can't even call Amazon customer support as FBA anymore. And now I have 300 gun magnets at my house. A lot of effort. You said that somebody else was interested in doing FBA, and I can give them all the courses that I paid for. I can give them exactly the screeners to go with, every single thing. I could teach them how to do that, no problem. Yeah. So obviously their next step for mentorship would probably be talking to me. Yeah. It's a business that I shut down because the effort was huge, and for me, and the reward was not that great. It wasn't as great as a lot of people made it out to be. My focus deserved to be somewhere else. Anyways, maybe I'm not even the best person to be a mentor for them. I could just kind of get them started, and then they can go to the next step.
Hey, like you said, you're at that 1. You need to learn from a 2 or 3, and so on and so forth.
The thing that's crazy is, like, right now I have real estate investment associations that I can go to, and I get value, and I get content, and I get people that I can learn from every single time I go. Every single time I go, I get value. I meet new people. I just met a guy that I'd never talked to before and sold him a deal, and wound up finding out that once he sent me over his company's information, I realized that he'd been the one that bought the deal from the last person I sold the deal to. You start, all the pieces start coming together. The Mechanism Mindset business that we have, I don't even know where to start trying to find a mentor for that, but recent events, I think, might be changing that for us.
I hope so.
Anyways, whatever you actively want to do, look for the person. YouTube is a mentor. Maybe one of the things, whenever I listen to a book, whenever I consume a book, which is always listening to it, I don't read them, there's always another book in there for you to move to. And I always write those down, or I put them in my list on my phone as the book's playing through, and then that's the next book that I go to. It's just, okay, what's the next step? Okay, well, here's the next step. Oh, we'll take the next step. So it's just always about that action. You have to, if you're going to actively look for mentorship, which you have to, you can't figure this out and do it all on your own. And you know what, maybe with the Amazon FBA stuff, maybe I should have gone to some of those Kevin David meetups, and maybe I should have gone to some of those deals like that. I just didn't want to pay the $2,000 to do it. Whereas I just, as far as a member of the Phoenix RIA, I just pay $200 once, and then I get to go once a month and be around all these people that are successful.
Yeah.
Varying levels of success, from 2s to 10s.
Oh yeah, and I mean, networking alone right there is huge. And that's where you're going to find most of your mentors. If you're doing something and you're not getting involved in the culture, you're not going to find a mentor if you just seclude yourself.
Right.
It's the same thing as like jiu-jitsu. I found a mentor like almost immediately, but I mean, you have to go on the mat.
Right.
You can't just do it at home and be like, oh, I'm going to find a mentor. No, you have to put yourself into that culture. You have to put yourself into that environment. And that's what you're doing with real estate. And I think that's why you found some really good mentors quickly, is because you're getting involved in that environment.
And being humble about it too.
Yeah.
Walk in as the student. Don't come in there. I've caught myself going, oh, I'm doing this, and I'm realizing, okay, I'm giving this information to the wrong people. Like I need to shut the fuck up right now.
Oh, yeah.
Listen to what you have to say.
Oh yeah. I mean, you've seen it. Anyone comes into a gym thinking they're a bad dude.
Yeah, they learn real quick.
They learn real quick. That rather than the humble guy that comes in and he's just like, I want to learn. Those are the people that everyone gets drawn to, right? Because
you're teachable.
Honestly, when you're successful at something, you want to be a mentor. You want to teach people. Like when you see someone else that's interested in it, this is something you love. So you're like, oh, look, this person wants to learn. You're excited about teaching. At least I am with jiu-jitsu. I see a white belt come in that wants to learn and wants to develop. I'm all over that, dude. I'll do technique with them. That's how I get hurt sometimes, but because they're crazy, some of them. But I don't care, dude. I want to teach those people, the people that want to learn. I mean, when I started teaching you, the other thing about a mentor is, I guess it's more towards jiu-jitsu, but finding someone who's similar to you. Everyone's a little bit different in jiu-jitsu anyways. Find someone with the same body style as you. We were both tall and lanky, so it's easier for me to coach you rather than someone who's short and stocky, because everything that I do is geared towards my body style. Well, I think for real estate, that's why you click and you find so many mentors so quickly, is a lot of these people that are doing what you're doing have that same personality as you. So they're drawn to you because you have that same concept of and perspective on things that they do. You and Pace are really, really similar people in that retrospect, and I think they're drawn to you because the honest ones are drawn to you because you're upfront, you're honest, you're they notice those things. When you're involved in something and you see someone new come into it, you notice things very easily because that's your world. They're just coming into your world right now, and you start noticing little things about them very easily. I think that's what Pace noticed about you, because he was drawn to you. Although Pace is just an awesome dude who helps a ton of people, but I think you guys had a special relationship pretty much straight from the go.
I just try not to waste his time too much, and I try, if I ask questions, I try to keep them as short and simple as possible because I know he's super busy. And if I don't completely understand, a lot of times I find out that if I do my best to focus on what somebody's telling me, don't ask a lot of stupid questions and muddy up that lesson, and I walk away and I just think about it, it's weird because the informational replay in my head, maybe I only got like 5% of it when it's first told to me. Then as I just kind of keep processing it, I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And after that, out of that 5% that I thought I got, that I received from that content, I'm actually ballooned into about 25% when I took the time to sit there and process it. If I get overwhelmed by like 50 different directions of stuff that I can't link anything to, it almost dissolves, and I don't have the content. So when people go from this topic to this topic to this topic, and I know I'm guilty of doing this to people as well, it makes it hard for me to put all the pieces together. The simple lessons, I try to take everything that he says and make it simple. At the same time, I'm trying not to waste anybody's time. Anybody mentor level that has seen that I'm taking an interest in them and I want to learn from them, I don't want to make them repeat themselves 20 times because they're going to get sick of that. And I can only imagine right now, because I'm talking to people, are asking me questions now, and I'm calling them and having conversations with them. Whereas if I have a conversation with you on this topic right now, I mean, even the team that I'm building, I feel like I shouldn't have to continuously repeat myself. I understand that I need to rebuild the team, but it can get tiring to have to repeat yourself. So when you do find a mentor, actually don't wear them out on you. Try your best to make whatever they're saying worthwhile.
That ties into another thing I think you're really good at, and you make it very clear. And I think that's kind of why you were my mentor in the electrical field. Because I came in, I was very clear about what I wanted, and you do this as well. Make sure when you're finding a mentor, be very clear about what your intentions are. If they're asking you, like, what do you want out of this? And you're like, oh, I don't know. No, you need to be telling them, this is what I want out of this. And maybe they're even like, that bar is a little bit too low. I could see you going here. But at least have something. Put something on the table. Be like, this is where I want to be. And maybe they tell you, okay, we can work on that, but you need to be here first. They're going to be willing to help you when they see that you have a vision or you know where you want to go. Rather than be like, oh, I don't know what I want to do. They're going to be like, okay, you're wasting my time.
When I had a phone conversation with a guy named Greg Pinneo, Pinneo. Look him up. He's a phenomenal guy. I've been in real estate for as long as I've been alive. And in our conversation, right now I'm a low-level real estate investor, but I want to get to a high level. I want to be multi-millionaire level. That's my ultimate goal. It's my current lie. It's going to become my future truth. It just is what it is. He tells me that he's only bought one distressed property in his life, and it was an inadvertent purchase. He just happened to find out that they had situations with their life or whatever, and he just bought the property just to blade it, stir the dirt, and build an apartment on top of it, apartment complex on top of it. And he told me, he's like, there's no reason I can't teach you how to do that as well. And I'm like, this is exactly what I'm looking for. This is exactly what I want.
Yeah.
And the odd thing about it is, once you actively start looking for mentors to move to the next level, to go from a 1 to a 2 to a 3 to a 4 to a 5, and whatever your endeavor is, they start popping up. And I don't know for sure if it's a matter of just the law of attraction? Like I'm like, this is what I want, and then all of a sudden this stuff comes into my life? Or is it just a matter of all this shit's around me all the freaking time, but now I'm looking for it? It's like if you're walking down the street and it's like when we bought our Jeep Grand Cherokee. I never noticed a Jeep Grand Cherokee before. Now I see them everywhere. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. And life is fun. Life is an adventure. If you're sitting there stuck, wallowing right now, thinking that everything sucks, and it can suck. It can get worse. Absolutely. My life could go a totally different direction tomorrow. Take the lesson from it. Maybe mentorship is coming into your world right now and you're just not even paying attention to it. Maybe the things that you're thinking about in your head that you're not putting a lot of credence to, you're not putting a lot of value in it, you just arbitrarily want to do something different. Look around. I assure you there's something popping in right now.
Yeah. And
you're going to notice it as you walk through the day, as you go through this week. And I mean, I don't think it's necessarily a matter of you going, oh, is that, you know what I mean? Maybe it's more a matter of, this is what I want to do. Here's my goal. Here's the direction I want to go, move towards. And all of a sudden, like, this thing pops up. I mean, I've been talking about, in February when I just started going to the gym for 3 days a week with a mechanism, and I just go in there, you know, grab some weights, get tired in 20 minutes and go home. Now I spend 3 hours a day, every single day in the gym. And then my goal shifted from just having abs in 12 weeks, which happened in 6 weeks, when I've never had abs in my entire life, ever, not even close. Now I walk around with, I mean, I'm not super 4% body fat, show ready, you know what I mean? I walk around 11%, see my abs all day long. And now I'm like, okay, so I want to compete IFBB by the end of 2020 as a bodybuilder, meaning I have to put about another 30 pounds on me, super proportionate added to my body muscle. My friend Tony just competed amateur and got first place in his weight class, and he got second place overall, first time he ever competed. Now he's telling me, he's like, dude, you should go to the Olympia competition with me next August in 2020. So my original goal is the end of 2020, and maybe I shift my goal to August 2020.
Nice.
To me, I don't even think it's a matter of, because, and I'm in a different age division. So I'm 43, I'll be 44 then, and he thinks that I'll probably be able to place very well, especially if I get the extra 30 pounds on me. And